Hey there, Motorheads. I know we've extolled the virtues before of Custom Autosound. And Custom Autosound, as you know, makes vintage-look stereos and speakers. Those radios have modern technology, but they look just like the originals. They came off the assembly line, like with this Corvette some 48 years ago. And I know we've told you plenty about the radios, but the speakers from Custom Autosound also look and sound amazing. Custom Autosound has kick panel speakers, in-dash speakers, or indoor speakers. And for Corvettes, this sound bar. This thing is really cool. Now with the sound bar from Custom Autosound, the music in this Corvette is going to sound even better than when it rolled off the assembly line in Bowling Green. Let's talk about installation. Everything you need comes in the box from Custom Autosound. The spanner bars are where you're going to start. Here you space everything out, you put the spanner bars in the slots where they go, and you get a rough idea of where you need to be. Then I measured the space that we had available. This only has to be rough because we can tweak it a little bit later. I set that tape measure down and I sized the whole assembly, and then I grabbed some set screws that come with the kit from Custom Autosound and the Allen key that comes with it. Tighten those set screws down just to put some pressure onto the spanner bars to make sure nothing moves. There's no holes there. Now, plenty of wire came with this kit from Custom Autosound, and we could have hidden the excess up behind the carpet flap, but the owner decided to cut the wire shorter, so we put spade connectors on each end, and we were in business. We just measured the gap between the two base ports to make sure everything was square before we started taking our measurements here. And then we grabbed the center panel, and we could cut that with a utility knife. If you have a bandsaw or something like that, that would work as well. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect, and I'll show you why in just a moment. And you can see our edges were not exactly perfect. Once you're done cutting, you fit the center panel into the middle there on the spanner bars, and you can adjust everything in or out. So if you cut it a little fat, you can slide it out just a little bit. If it's a little too narrow, you slide it in. And here's what I was talking about, why it didn't have to be perfect. That's because of these trim pieces. They call these base port clips. Those snap right in, and they give it a really nice finished look. Now it's time to put the unit into the car. And in the Corvette, it sits right on the ledges on either side, right above the wheel wells. So that was easy. I didn't need anybody to hold the other side. And Custom Autosound gives you self-tapping screws. Those are included in the box. I just took my drill once everything looks centered up, and I was able to drive the screws in on all four corners. But before I tightened everything down, I tucked the wires up behind the sound bar, and we were in business. Of course, the 1970s is really when aftermarket car stereos started to take off and become more sophisticated. So if you have a vintage car from the 60s or before, you know the sound quality was nowhere near what it is today. In the good old days, there was only analog radio with analog sound, and that meant AM radio or AM and FM if you were a trendsetter back in the late 1960s. And of course, you got to listen to all of it through a glorious single speaker in the center of the dash. With Custom Autosound, you get a radio that looks authentic, and it looks just like a radio that would have been in your car when it rolled off the showroom floor. But you get the technology of today that you can't live without. First and foremost, you can go hands-free with Bluetooth technology. When you're driving your classic car, the last thing you need is a distraction when you're trying to use your cell phone, not to mention the fact that over half of these United States require that you go hands-free. So, Bluetooth keeps you safe on the roads, and it keeps you from getting a ticket. And oh, by the way, some models from Custom Autosound let you use Bluetooth to stream music from your phone or MP3 player. Custom Autosound radios also have aux and USB connections, so you can connect your digital player or your CD player. And I tell you what, these radios look amazing, and it would be easy for Custom Autosound to stop there with the styling, but they don't just look great. These are high quality components that are going to sound great and last a long time too. Radios from Custom Autosound are built at the same factories that make a lot of high-end, high-quality name brands that you know. And in addition to that, every model undergoes a battery of tests to make sure it can stand up to the beating it's going to take in the real world. There's the extreme temperature testing, where the unit is subjected to frigid temperatures as well as intense heat. Then there's the temperature aging test and the ever-important vibration test. We all know how much a car can vibrate and shake while you're driving, especially older cars with big engines and aggressive cams. Well, Custom Autosound radios are designed to stand up to all of that. Maybe you're waiting to go to CustomAutosoundMFG.com because the whole process seems a little daunting, but let me tell you, Custom Autosound makes every single step super easy. Of course, you've seen the installation. Let's talk about choosing the right radio to begin with. Custom Autosound has radios for over 450 particular models of cars and trucks, but you won't have to spend all your time sifting through page after page online, checking the specs to see which radio fits. All you have to do is go to the website. You'll see where it says Shop Products by Car. Then you select the make of the vehicle. Another window pops up. That's where you'll choose the model and then the year. and up will pop all of the radios, speakers, and accessories they have to fit your specific vehicle. So let's review. Radios from Custom Autosound are easy to pick out in the first place. They're easy to install. They sound great, they look great, and they're going to be durable, high-quality units that last you for a long, long time. Go to CustomAutosoundMFG.com to find the radio that suits you, your style, and your budget.